Hello, Amy Whitney here from Inspirational Transformational Network. Nancy Broerse, a trance channeler from the Niagara area, has delightfully agreed to work with Inspirational Transformational Network, and once a month she'll be doing a trance channel for a lucky viewer who sends in a question. So what we decided was, because this is something new to me and probably to many of you out there, we would do a recording with Nancy channeling Lieonardo. We were really blessed to have Vera Johnson join us today as well. She's a very talented hypnotherapist in the Niagara area, and she's a director, so she helps with the flow of the questions and with being there to greet Lieonardo when he comes through. So it is such a joy to share this experience with you. It was the first time I've seen a trance channeler, so I was almost just a little bit overwhelmed when it came to me being able to ask questions. My mind went completely blank, and I ask questions as a profession, so for that to happen to me, it was just such an incredible energy in the space, and it was a really healing experience for me. So it is with great pleasure and delight that I'm able to bring this video to you today. So if you're interested in having your own questions answered, do check out the website and enjoy this clip.
Hello, I'm Vera Johnson, Director of Innisfree School of Hypnosis Education, and I'm also Nancy's Director. And what does that entail? Well, I guess we have to backtrack to how hypnosis actually helps people with psychic abilities develop them further. And that's exactly what happened with Nancy. It certainly wasn't something I intended to do, which was to work in this field, but the more I worked in hypnosis, the more I found myself also working in this field. Nancy always had psychic abilities and was also a very, very talented person in hypnosis, and she and I worked together to do remote healing, other things which have been proven and which Nancy could do well. In the course of it, though, she began seeing and experiencing other things, and I went with her on this and helped her build up through many guides and spirits and experiences until finally a major collective came through and said, "Greetings, Claire." Now, why Claire? Because they knew me in a past life as Claire. And long before Nancy, I actually had that past life experience, so it was very big proof when a spiritual collective could also call me by that name. As such, Nancy came through, and with Lieonardo, that's the name of the spiritual collective, the spoke spirit, and more, I guess for the last 2 years, 3 years, Lieonardo's been giving information about the world, about life, helping us with our own life paths, and moving ahead. As a director, I'm basically here to help people who would like to get information from Lieonardo, because there's many things they don't know. They don't know that they can be released from past lives. They don't know that they could have spirit attachments or energy attachments that can be taken away. And they tend to also at some point realize this is very, very real. And many of them cry. So I'm here to kind of help that out. And should anything ever happen with Nancy, I'm also here to help her get over that. Thank you. You're going to notice some things with Nancy when she begins, and that's when she's also becoming Lieonardo. The first thing you'll notice is that she is using some self-hypnosis to allow herself to go deeply into her subconscious, and then she also uses self-hypnosis to allow her vibration to rise. When Lieonardo joins her, she will have a slight jerk, and that doesn't mean she's having any physical difficulty at all. It's just his joining of her. And then all the energies necessary to give information join again, so she'll have a second jerk. When she finishes with the reading, she will also jerk twice as she leaves. Nancy has two ways of being. She can be completely absent from this and just lend her body, or she can be way in the background and hear what's going on. And I think she actually likes being in the background, because then afterwards she can join in the conversation. When she's completely gone, she hasn't a clue what was said. So there are some people who would prefer the first, because to them it's more proof when it seems that she has had nothing to do with it. And there are many who would like to discuss it with her afterwards. I think we're ready.
Greetings, friends, and Claire.
Greetings, Lieonardo. We're filming this today, and in the hopes of reaching many people, and I believe that's with your permission.
Certainly so. This is our wish, yes.
Yes. I wonder if for people who would be viewing this, if you could explain a little about yourself.
There is so much, you see. However, we will tell you that we have been incarnated in the human body a number of times. This is to gain our experiences and our vibration to be raised, you see, to fully love and have deep compassion for others. One must experience all facets of the human life, all facets, both the good and what you consider the bad. Although there is not truly bad, this is a human societal label, you see. And so we have experienced a number of lives with various experiences and various degrees of learning. We were at one point a professor of the arts, being the healing arts of Atlantis. And so this is where we have made the connection, you see, with Claire, and have continued on to make these connections in various lives. We have raised to a point that we no longer need to be in the body. We have raised our vibration to the point where the energy level is sufficient now to no longer need the corporal experiences. Now we continue to be part of the whole.
Thank you. You may need to tell people the difference between what you are and what a regular guide is.
A guide, you see, is a spiritual entity, one who has experienced much on earth within the body, experienced the challenges, you see, of the body. It has raised higher. It has risen to the level of energy and vibration that it no longer needs to experience earth experiences, but continues to raise its vibration by its own work in the spiritual form, you see, in the energy form. And so a guide is one who has had much experience as a human being, but also continues to learn. continues to learn. This is not the highest, most highest degree of vibration. They are striving still to grow closer to the center of the God source, you see.
And how are you different?
We are different in that we have already experienced the human life challenges, have risen to the point where we have been guides and have risen beyond because of our work. Because of our work in challenges and working through energy to become much, much closer to the nucleus of the God source. We are of the God source.
And as such, you can act as a guide if you
Oh, certainly so. Certainly so. This does not mean we are prevented from that. No, no, no. We are certainly most able to assist others, as we have been doing, but we are simply higher on the scale.
Do you know the collective called Abraham?
Indeed so.
And is Abraham the same as you?
Yes, most similar.
Why now? Why are you coming to Earth now?
Because now it is known as the shift, also the Great Shift. This has been predicted for many, many, many years. The Earth and mankind are going through an evolution, you see, an evolution. Not just an ordinary evolution, wherein it would take 200-300 years, 100,000 years to evolve. But suddenly, now the Earth is at a stage where it has been abused and used. It is now trying to cleanse itself. This is it's also at the same time that mankind no longer needs to fight to survive. It is time now for the evolution of mankind to develop as they are meant to do, to be part of the new golden age, you see, to be part of Source, to be reconnected with Source. It is time now. We are here, as are others all over the world, distributing information and assistance and guidance, you see, in order to assist mankind. It is not just such as we. There are also beings, you see, from all over. In this world, you think of simply a ball in the sky, you see, with some planets. However, there is much, much more. Much, much more. And there are other beings from other timelines, other time levels that are here coming, and some are here already to assist mankind to go through this evolution, you see.
Yes, of course, being Claire, I have many questions.
Certainly so.
We
are not
trying
surprised.
also to help you with this. So, for Amy, she doesn't know much about this.
Indeed.
So I think perhaps if we make it a little bit more personal, that this can help. I wonder if you could do a physical scan of Amy.
Certainly. One moment, please. The one Amy has a very good lifestyle for her as far as how she takes care of her body. And she is well exercised, she eats properly, she has a good emotional and mental attitude. But Amy has work to do. Work to do. Amy has the one issues that she needs to build on to achieve her highest potential. Do you wish to know these issues?
Yes, please.
We will tell you that you have great strength and courage. This will be needed because it is time now for you to come into your own. It is time. You see, if you will find that this will not be easy, but you have the capabilities of doing it. It is as if you have been standing on the beach with your toes touching the water, but afraid to step in really deep up to your waist. It is time now. You have the ability, you have the connections, you have the desire. It is time now for you to blossom. this will take some work. It will take courage. It will take some stubbornness even, you see? But you have that ability because you are very strong.
Thank you.
You will find that you will glow once you are at your potential. It will not take you long. It will be a matter of approximately 2 years. But you will have to take steps that will take courage.
What is the percentage of her being successful with this?
The percentage of the one Amy to be successful in her desires is 73%.
Thank you.
This is high.
Thank you.
And so your advice, of course, would be how to raise the rest of that percentage.
Certainly so. Certainly so. You will learn not only to be more connected to your spiritual connection, to your source. This is what you need to focus on, but also to honor yourself. It is time to honor yourself, and this will take some work to do. And although you are confident and you know yourself, you have much to learn.
Do you have any specific direction, such as, is it meditation, is it joining this group, is it yoga? Do you have anything really specific that you can suggest?
We will suggest to you that you take a form of education with challenges. This will not only enlighten your mind, but will help you reach out and contact your source. You will also need to find your joy, which is close to you. Your joy is close to you. And when you find your joy, you're opening your heart for the connection with Source, you see. So we would suggest you have potential in your connections to enlighten yourself with challenges, with forms of education, training and education.
Are you talking about the life path groups?
Yes, that would certainly be most advantageous to this one. Also, to achieve more social skills. We are not saying that you do not have social skills. No. We are saying that you will need to strengthen your own ability to project yourself and to become more honest within yourself and without. This will be a challenge for you, but you are very capable of doing this.
Thank you.
Leonardo, in our world today, there is much misinformation
Indeed.
about spirit, about the dimensions. I believe so much of what you say, but it's still always a very large stretch. And I wonder, for the benefit of the viewers, if you could discuss negative energies and spirits and how we release them.
Negative energies, yes. You see, some have labeled negative energies as evil or the devil. There is none. You see, negative energies are simply energy of negative, you see, and that is created by mankind. You must remember that your thoughts create your reality. To think in a negative way with anger or jealousy or regret. These are all negative energies created into an actual entity by your thoughts. This is why it is so important to always think and speak in a positive manner. To not hold on to negative emotions, you see. If you cling to a negative emotion, it draws more. Negativity draws negativity, you see. And so it is best to be grounded and centered, using meditation, using such as deliberate thought to keep oneself in a positive state of mind. And to find your joy will keep you also in a very positive state so that you can connect better with the source.
So when a negative energy comes out of the abstract, as we would call it, into reality and connects with the person, Many people think that's because of their mistake and whatever, but it's just a low point in their life, and
certainly
don't connect with anybody.
Certainly so. You see, the human being, certainly given the human emotions, which are not felt, of course, by spirit. This is something, almost a payment one makes when one takes on a human body. You have to deal with the physical and the emotional aspects of the body and the brain. And so when you take on these emotions, it becomes an entity in itself. It does not always mean it is your fault. It is simply that you have been carried into the negative moods, or because of all the different challenges you do, that you have to experience. Also, we remind you that many times some of these negative energies come from others when you are tired, overburdened, weakened in some way by negative energy or negative emotions, you see. And so they can be removed. They can be removed. And so it is not always the fault of the one. Also, a negative spirit, a negative energy can snap onto you because you just happen to be there. For example, those who work with people who are physically ill or mentally ill need to be very cautious, because those who are carrying the negativity, they can lose bits of themselves. And it becomes a negative entity that will attach to the person who is the healer or who is the healing worker.
And so they almost have, well, I've seen and worked with them, and they seem to have an intelligence of their own, a personality, and they do influence the person in pain
certainly.
And emotion. And
certainly, they can have both emotional and physical effects, certainly so. We have seen this in our work, where one can have severe lower back pain, and it is caused by an entity. This entity might be someone who even has passed over and not recognized that their body has died, and they are lost. They don't know where to go, and they need assistance.
So, just want to make a clear division for the people who are watching. A negative energy does not have spirit or soul.
This is so.
And therefore, when removed, it's taken away somewhere that it's out of being able to harm us.
Yes.
Right? From what I have seen, when I've experienced them, they can be anything from the lowest little slug to something which will yell at you and whatever. And thankfully, you can release them, more than me. And that's easier
Indeed.
when it's done. Now, you have already mentioned that sometimes a spirit gets encased in this negativity, and we have to try to help that spirit.
That is so.
And then we have spirit that for some reason hasn't passed on. Can you
Yes.
explain that?
Yes. We have had an incident where spirit was existing, we should say, within a dwelling. And this spirit was contacted. He was often felt and seen. And as we have contacted and been able to communicate, found that it was a businessman, of many, many years ago. This businessman had passed over. He had passed away. His body had passed away. He was not aware that he had had a heart attack and died. He was still searching for his family. He was perplexed. He was upset. He could not understand why people wouldn't respond to his questions. He was locked in that building. He was locked there, searching for his family for many, many years. He had no concept of time. He simply was distressed, very distressed. Once it had been revealed to him that he was actually, in fact, released from his body, and he was allowed to see his family, his beloveds, and then he was able to accept and cross over into the light. He has not been seen or felt since in that dwelling.
But they can also haunt a person, can't they?
Indeed.
We use the word haunt.
Yes, yes. This has been done.
And can give that back pain. I'm
Yes.
wondering if you can do a spiritual and an energy scan of Amy right now.
Certainly. One moment, please. There is one small negative energy on the right heel. This effect of this small attachment is to create minor havoc, such as self-doubt, such as lack of ability to move forward. Do you wish this removed?
Yes, please.
One moment, please. Yes, please. It has been removed and released. This energy had attached to you during a time of great stress, when you were overly burdened with emotions.
Thank you.
This one says it does not mean harm. It simply did what it had to do.
Another
Health
thing-
scan.
I'm sorry, I thought you were finished.
All is clear.
Another thing that many people don't know is that we can bring the good and the not so good from our past lives. And we always want what's good in the past lives.
certainly.
But I wonder also if you could scan past lives of Amy, and if she has some that she'd like not to have, you can disconnect her.
Certainly. One moment, please. Yes, there is one. You were as a native Aboriginal. You see, that has been in the west of the continent, approximately 400 of your years. You were of a tribe of native Indians. You had your village had been ambushed. It would be ambushed, yes, by warriors of another tribe. These were very cruel, abusive warriors, and they had destroyed all of your group, your clan, but took the women back, the women and children. You were one of the children. You were one of the children. They tried to assimilate you in the tribe. Although they treated you kindly, you always knew you did not belong there. You felt overpowered. You felt confined. You felt bound by, you were feeling bound by obligation. Because they had treated you well, you felt you had to stay with them. You had opportunities to escape. You chose not to do that because of your sense of obligation. This particular issue has been forwarded to you now. This is something that you need to decide whether you will take your opportunities this time or not. Sometimes these lifelines, these connections from older lives, past lives, serve to remind you to work on this now, in the moment. You see? Once the purpose of these connections is no longer necessary, they can be disconnected.
Well, yes.
I have what I thought was a spirit guide. It was a young Indian girl, and she called herself Lakota, but maybe that was the tribe from the west she was from. Does that have anything, she visits me sometimes, does that have anything to do with this past life?
This is part of your former self.
Okay.
You see, she is a part of your former self.
Amazing.
Is this the self that you just described?
Yes.
Amazing.
Now, do you want that connection, that obligation that you brought gone, or do you want to work with it? That's your choice.
You can continue, you see, the communication with that life, or the sense of obligation and feeling confined can be disconnected.
I would love to have that disconnect.
Yes. One moment, please. It's been done.
Thank you, Leonardo.
I don't know how much longer you have this.
It's for however long you're comfortable
Okay,
with it.
because now you can ask Lieonardo some questions. As I can see, it's becoming very real to you, isn't it?
Yes, that was beautiful. Sometimes you don't even realize what you need until it's brought
This
to the
is
light.
so. This is so. You see, with the human body, you are feeling so disconnected from Source. You see, this is almost as though you were wearing a coat of insulation that stops the communication from Source to you. However, what you need to remember is that you have your higher self. Your higher self is the still connection between Source and yourself. You need to learn how to reach your higher self, to speak to it, ask it for guidance, you see.
So I'd like to go back to what you said initially about my toes in the water, being seen, being heard. Does that tie into, at the moment I do a lot of work. I try to help everybody I meet, I give, and a lot of times I don't ever hear from people again. I don't even get a thank you. I might say something really quite valuable, and it's like it's not even heard. Is once I follow the steps you initially spoke of, is that where my voice becomes heard?
Indeed, for at this point you feel invisible.
Yes.
You feel non-appreciated. You see, as good as you are to others, others do not always hear what they need to hear because it may not be what they want to hear. You see, and so they block their ears. But until you learn to justify your own feelings, then your voice will be heard to others, because right now you're not listening to your own voice.
Ah, I get it.
You see?
Yes.
You need to listen to your higher self, to connect with that in order to start fulfilling your own potentials.
Okay. I feel like what you've told me today is so spot on, and I mean, I could make up questions, but I feel like I got what I came to hear, and it was so moving and so touching for me. Everything that you've said just resonated so strongly, so I feel content where we're at.
Very good. You will have other questions as you move forward. We will always be here for you.
Thank you, Leonardo.
Sometimes when you want to know about a child or whatever, and you're not asking now. But it's important to know that Lieonardo needs a fix on it. So he always needs the name, the location of birth, and the age.
So I can ask about my daughter. Is that all right, Lieonardo?
Oh, certainly so. Yes, of course.
Her name is Ariel. Do you want her full name?
Please.
Ariel Shawnees Whitney, born Brisbane, Australia on September 10th, 2007.
Indeed, this child is precocious. Precocious, yes? And she is much enlightened, more than you understand at this point. She is part of the new human race, you see, that are more sensitive and more perceptive. She is part of the new evolution, you see, but very precocious, yes, yes. She will do well.
Thank you. Is there any suggestion for parenting her that you could give? Because she's very strong-willed, and I try to sort of let go, but you also want to have boundaries. So do you have any guidance you can give me?
And simply respect her energy, but she does need to learn her discipline. She does need her boundaries. This will take patience and understanding, but regardless of her gifts, she still needs the boundaries that a normal child, normal we are saying previous generations. We are speaking of a child who needs to become also aware of her capabilities, but without feeling that she is more special than others, you see. Simply treat her gifts as if it is the same as if she had blue eyes or brown.
Okay.
It is simply another part of her. But she does need to learn the boundaries to be able to fit into society and to appreciate what she has. Also, teach her gratitude. Gratitude is very important. It would be wise to have her start her sleep by looking at her gratitude of what has happened during the day. This will help her learn to connect with more than just the happenings of the human life, but of her existence.
That's beautiful. Am I also able to ask about my husband?
Certainly.
David Charles Whitney, born Launceston, Tasmania on May 28th, 1969.
This is a very strong-minded human being, very strong-minded. He likes to be in control. He likes to be in control and has great difficulty in anything that goes against what he has planned or what he has determined to be the right thing. He will require some enlightenment. It will be difficult for him, we will tell you, as you become more developed into yourself. This will be difficult. However, he does love you dearly. And so he will be eventually more willing to listen.
Lieonardo, we've been covering most of the general and broad things here. Is there anything specific you would like to say to people as you're on YouTube right now?
We wish to remind all of you that there are many things happening right now. As the earth is changing, as the earth is cleansing itself, the earth has been abused, the earth has been poorly treated. This is a twofold message: to respect the earth, the energy of the earth, appreciate what you have, for all that is there was meant for you to exist, to survive, and to succeed. All that your physical bodies need, you see. However, right now there are many changes. This is part of the evolution again. We urge you that though you are seeing on your forms of communication, your newspapers, your televisions, your computers, you will find many things that seem most fearful and horrendous happening in your time. We urge you not to not to take deep hold of the fear. Yes, have love and compassion for those who have chosen to leave this earth at this time. Remember that you have all contracted to be here at this time. It takes great courage, you see, to choose to be here at this most unusual time. This is the beginning of the golden age for mankind, you see. But it will take great courage and determination and positive thought, positive work to make sure that the balance is kept. So that we say to you, do not cling to the fear, do not cling to the negative feelings, the anger, the distrust. You must keep yourself in a positive frame of mind. That is vital, because negativity, as we have said, begets more negativity. Do not allow yourself to be trapped in that. Feel compassion, feel love, accept, feel your own connection to spirit. This will keep you safe and well.
One last question, and this is coming from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. We've talked a lot about the energy of Niagara Falls.
Indeed so.
Can you give us some information about that, please?
You see, the Niagara Falls is situated on the crossing of ley lines. These are energy lines. These lines are the ones that encircle the earth in many directions. These are the ones that give the energy to the animals when they hibernate, when they migrate, you see, when they fly to other climates. They follow these ley lines because they are sensitive to the energies, you see. With all the changes, you will find that there will be birds appearing in places they do not belong. There will be animals confused. There will be drownings. There will be deaths. But there will also be great discoveries as well. The Niagara Falls lies on the crossing of two major ley lines. At this point, you see, is a great point of energy. There is much energy. As you know, if you stand by the falls at the railings, you find that your whole body resonates with the pounding of the water. It is not just the noise of the water, but the energy created at this point, at this physical geological point, you see. Now, this will create a great area of positive energy, great healing, great inspirational energy that you can tap into if you have raised your vibrations high enough. It is certainly a most spiritual energy spot here. However, for every action there is a reaction. You know general physics, and where there is good there will always be bad. There is what we refer to as a moat. It will fall approximately 2.5 miles from the center of the falls. See? You will find that in this particular moat, this deep drop of energy, it becomes almost a negative energy. You see? This can be illustrated by a great number of those who use addictions to fill that missing part that they are seeking. Those who have depression. Those who have inability to move forward. This is caused by the moat, the negative balance of the positive, you see.
I've also heard, that was supposed to be my one last question.
But we are used to you, Claire. Yes, indeed. Claire never has one last question.
That the falls itself is attracting many UFOs.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. It is recognized, you see, out of the earth, out of that environment. It is recognized by all as a great source of energy. Often ships or beings or their facilities of transportation are drawn towards that point of energy. Wherever you have a source on the earth of great energy that will be attracting it will be attracting others from other worlds.
Will we be seeing more?
You will be aware of some. Keep in mind that there are many light beings that are much further in their own evolution, much further than mankind, the human beings, you see? And so they have a higher vibration, higher than that of the human body. And so you will find that even though some are here, you will not see them. And because their vibration is so high, they are not visible to the human eye or audible to the human ear. Also keep in mind, and this gets very confusing for many, because it is difficult for the human mind to conceive of that there are time zones, timelines that are totally different, but also continuous and consecutive, as well as being at the same time. And so with others in different vibrations, they are here coming to assist you. There are many here coming to assist you to work on the balance of the positive in order to get rid of the negative, you see? And many are still coming. They come with love and compassion, for they too have been through this. We ask you not to be afraid. We ask you to keep your mind open. Accept, stay grounded, stay positive. Do not embrace the fear. Many of these things happening are simply changes. Do not be afraid. Just accept, look at it from a distance. Keep your heart filled with love and compassion for those who have chosen to leave.
Thank you, Lieonardo. I think that we've covered a lot of ground.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
And you can release the form. We thank you for coming and doing this for people.
And we are most pleased to have this opportunity to communicate with both of you, but also all of those who are watching. This is our mandate, to spread the knowledge, to spread the message of love and compassion, and to not embrace the fear. Stay grounded, stay centered, be safe and well. We shall release the form. I'm back.
Thank you.